It was a cold and dark night, and a young girl named Sarah was home alone for the first time. Her parents had gone out for dinner and wouldn't be back until late. Although she was a bit nervous, she felt safe in her house, accompanied only by her faithful dog, Max. Max was a large, protective German shepherd, and Sarah knew he would guard her well. Before going to bed, Sarah made sure to follow her parents' instructions meticulously. She double-checked all the locks on the doors and windows, ensuring everything was secure. The house was eerily quiet, with only the occasional creak and groan from the old wooden floors. The wind howled outside, causing the trees to rustle and cast eerie shadows against the walls. After finishing her nightly routine, Sarah changed into her pajamas and settled into her cozy bed. Max, as always, followed her and lay down on the floor beside her bed. She reached down to pet his head, feeling his warm fur beneath her fingers. Whenever she felt nervous or scared, she would reach out her hand and Max would lick her fingers, which reassured her. As Sarah drifted off to sleep, the comforting presence of Max nearby made her feel secure. The hours passed peacefully until she was suddenly awakened by a strange sound. It was the distinct noise of water dripping, a persistent drip, drip, drip that seemed to echo through the silent house. Annoyed, Sarah thought the faucet in the bathroom was leaking again, a problem they had fixed recently. Feeling too tired to get out of bed, Sarah reached out her hand from beneath the covers. Max, sensing her unease, immediately licked her fingers. The warm, familiar touch of his tongue reassured her, and she settled back into her pillows, deciding to deal with the leak in the morning. A short while later, Sarah was awoken once again by the sound of dripping water. This time, the noise seemed louder and more insistent, as if it were trying to demand her attention. She groaned, frustrated at the disturbance. Once again, she reached out her hand, and Max licked her fingers, his warm tongue a comfort in the dark room. She decided to ignore the noise for now, thinking she would check the faucet in the morning since she was too tired to get up at that moment. The noise persisted, and when it woke her for the third time, Sarah could no longer ignore it. The sound was almost unbearable, and it seemed to reverberate through the entire house. She sat up in bed, her heart pounding with a mix of irritation and unease. Max was unusually silent this time, which struck her as odd. Determined to turn off the faucet once and for all, Sarah got out of bed, feeling the cold floor beneath her feet. She grabbed her flashlight from the nightstand and made her way to the bathroom. The hallway was dark and seemed longer than usual, the shadows stretching and warping in the dim light. When she entered the bathroom and flicked on the light, she was greeted by a sight that made her blood run cold. There, hanging in the shower, was Max. He was dead, his lifeless body suspended by a rope tied around his neck. Blood dripped from his body, pooling in the tub and slowly draining away, creating the dripping sound she had heard. Sarah's scream caught in her throat, and she stumbled backward, nearly falling. Her eyes were wide with horror, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't comprehend what she was seeing. Her faithful, protective Max, who had always been by her side, was gone. As she backed away in shock, her eyes were drawn to the mirror above the sink. Written in Max's blood, smeared across the glass, was a chilling message.
Humans can lick too.